A really brief tag that I want to show you today. It's just one single type of tag, but it has attributes like href and src, and it's going to allow you to get the point in your project number one about me page for styling, but in a more fun way, it's going to allow you to start customizing your websites. And that's why I've started off by asking, should you make your website work first or should you make it pretty first? Because those are an important decision that you need to make when you create sites in the future. What are we doing today? 212, just looking at the style tag. There are a couple ways that you could do the style tag, namely container-based, like with a table where we have style inside of its own container, or inline, where it's in line with the different elements. This is probably the ones you've already practiced with if you've been looking into style on your own time, which is fine. You do not have to. Ways you can experiment with this and how it relates to project number one is what we're doing today. The outcomes, you get to customize your About Me pages. You get to understand the difference between inline and container-based elements. And we get a little bit of an introduction. Intro is in quotes because it's not a full lesson on the language called Cascading Style Sheets, which is CSS. And the middle S in CSS for style is going to allow you to change your websites and the way they look. So there are two ways that I want to show you the style tag. The inline style, which is easier to use, but a little bit messier because you're repeating the phrase style, 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 style quite a bit. It's easier to get, but it makes your code a little bit messier. And then the other one, the container version inside of the head, is a little bit more intermediate because you have to do a little bit more work to get it to work, but it's cleaner and it's easier to customize because it's all in one spot. And then I was working on showing you this Chrome or Edge or Firefox extension called Unstyler, which takes away all of the styling on web pages so you can see kind of their bones, kind of like an X-ray. But I wasn't able to find it because a lot of the Chrome stuff got taken off and I couldn't find it on Edge. Firefox had one that kind of worked, but it didn't work as well as I'd planned. I'm still going to show you a way to do this with the inspect element, so you can kind of take an X-ray of your different web pages and see how they're put together. But we'll get to that a little bit later. So I'm going to open up VS Code, and I want to start showing you the style tag as linked right here inside of your resources in 4.2. Okay? If we open that up, you're going to see that the HTML style attribute, remember that word attribute is something that lives inside of a start tag, like src or like href, and it's adding styles to an element like color, font, size, and more. And how this relates to your project number one is it's worth 5 points in the styling category because at least one element has to have some kind of style. Okay? And this is due tomorrow, by the way. Open all the way through break. You can still turn it in by the lock date for full credit. So you have until the Friday after break. Let me double check that that's what I said it as. Yeah, the Friday after break is done to turn this in. So how do we use the style tag? If we click on the Try It Yourself editor right here on the W3 Schools link, you're going to see that in each of these paragraph elements has this style attribute right here. It's the word style with an equal sign and then some specific type of instructions that's going to change the way the paragraphs look, right? So if we look at the content right here that says I am red, and it relates to the I am red output on the window here, that's because we've added this style tag of the color red. Now, this type of styling that you're seeing right here is the easier version and the one that I want you to give a try today because it's in line with the other elements. See how it's all the other pieces like the start tag, the style, the content, and the end tag are all in a line with each other. The drawback of inline is you have to keep repeating this style, style, style all throughout your code whenever you want to change something specific like the color or the font size. So where can you see different types of ways to style your elements? It's all going to be within this HTML styles W3 Schools. So if you scroll down, you want to change the background color. Excuse me, it's giving me the hiccups. If you want to change the background color of your page, you got to add a tag to something called the body. And we haven't talked about head and body yet, so we might do that one as well. I'm going to go grab that back door here in just a second, but there are a couple different methods. Thank you, Jedrick. Can you grab the door? A couple different methods of... Hi, welcome in. A couple different methods of styling your websites, okay? And I want to show you how to do that in VS Code. the inline version. Then a little bit later today, I will show you how to do the container-based version, but for now we're going to start with the inline. So I'm going to open up VS Code, VSC on my keyboard, and then you can see this is the example that we put together the other day. In order to get my code running, I click on Run and Debug, and then I click on Run and Debug again. And then mine automatically opened in Edge. Your VS Code is going to kind of figure out which browser you like to use for your outputs, but it might still ask you which one you wanted to use in that top bar right here. So if we're going to add some style to an element, we first need a basic element to style, all right? So I'm going to take this table stuff right here, and I'm going to cut it just so that you can see a little bit better what's going on my page, all right? I'm just going to save this to a notepad real quick. Control V, and we'll come back to that later. Okay, remember when you make elements, it's like making a sandwich. You need your start tag and your end tag, pieces of bread, and you need content ingredients in the middle. So if I just have a paragraph, shift comma P, shift period, that's going to give me my slices of bread. And if I add some all caps text, Control S to save, green circle to refresh, that's going to make the output or the code appear on my page. Because style is an attribute, if you see right here, it goes at the beginning or inside of the start tag for the thing we're trying to change. We're going to put that inside of our start tag right over here, right? Inside of our paragraph starting tag. So I'm going to hit space and type out the word style and then hit enter. And it's going to automatically add that equal sign and those quotation marks. If it does not add the equal sign and quotation marks, you may have spelled the word style wrong, or sometimes it just doesn't work. So you need to know that you always need that equals quotes in order for your computer to understand what we're doing. You're going to see too that your HTML right up here, if you look at my, come on, double click. There we go. You look at my mouse right up here, it kind of turns yellow. It's because we have like an incomplete style tag. Let me get rid of this over here so you can see the example. If you want to change the color of an element, not the background color, that's a specific difference, just the color of the actual text, that is the word color, but now our HTML is red. You see at the top bar how it's kind of angry at us? It's because the computer will freak out if it does not have an exact set of instructions, if it does not have an exact set of ingredients. So in order to complete our instructions, we need two important punctuation marks. The first of which is the colon. That's 2 dots, right? So we need to say, after we say color, we need 2 dots to then specify what type of color, okay? And we'll save some of this vocab for this CSS a little bit later. But once you have the thing that you're trying to style, for example, the color of this text right here, which I'm going to add the phrase colorful to, because I want you to be able to tell this is colorful text. What color should we change this this text to? Green? I heard some green. Okay, so if you type out green, you're going to see there are a couple different options, at least in the basic version. There are more advanced ways, but let's keep it simple for now. I'm going to click green right here, and this little green box is going to appear in VS Code telling you the exact specific type of green that it is. Now, if you wanted to change that green, you could move the little circle around inside of the green box, but you're going to notice that it changes the color a little bit. So for now, we're just going to keep that as the word green. All right, so when I Control S to save, get rid of the white dot that lives up here by the X. Anytime you see a white dot up here, it means that you have not saved your code yet. Control S to save, click green to refresh, and now our text has become green. And this is the simplest way to start customizing the look of the elements on your About Me page with the inline style tag. Another one that's really popular that I want to show you real quick is background color. For example, maybe if I wanted to change the background color of my output here. Background color takes a little bit more setup because we need 2 more parts that I want to show you real quick. Okay? But before I show you those, this is all you have to do on your About Me project, on project number 1, in order to get the points. This is the easiest way to start customizing the elements on your page. if you wanted to change the background color, the specific way that you do that is with a couple more containers. All right? Those containers are the head and the body. So let's think outside of the computer real quick. When we look at each other, can we see what's going on inside of our heads? Yes or no? No, right? We have the information inside of our heads that's not publicly available. However, you can tell that you have classmates in this room because their bodies are in this room, right? That's how I want you to remember head and body in HTML, is the body, whatever you write inside of the body container, just like a body paragraph in an essay, is going to be what the user sees at the end. Whatever you put inside the head is not going to be visible. That's specific to make the website function better or function differently, all right? And how do you actually create those tags? Very simply, almost exactly how you create the HTML tags. So if we go right at the start, let me move this, scoot this over a little bit. If we go right at our line number 1, where it says HTML, put your cursor at the end of the line, over here, hit enter, shift comma, and write out the word HEAD, shift period. Then hit enter, bless you. Now we have created a brain for our HTML page. This is where we can put a bunch of stuff later, but for now, just remember that it is the part that can't be seen. It is not the body. It cannot be seen by the user, which is what we're creating right over here in the output. So if that's how you create the head tag, how do you imagine you create the body tag? Exactly. Oh, sorry. So true. Exactly right. So shift comma, BODY, shift period, enter. Now we've got 2 containers. But what's really important is that the HTML can work if you have stuff outside of your body, but typically you want your entire website to live within the body tags if you are going to use a head and a body container. For project number 1, you do not need a head and body container, but if you want some more advanced customization, the head and the body container will allow you to change the background color. So what I'm going to do, even though if I refresh my output, my web page still renders, which means gets created, right? Kind of like baking a recipe. It goes from ingredients to cake. It gets rendered. I still, just for purposes of making sure that it works, want this code inside of the body container. And a quick way to do that is to highlight it all, not the HTML, just the elements. Control X is cut, and then Control V is paste. And you're going to see it's automatically going to format it. If it doesn't automatically format it, you can hit Tab in order to create your body container. Control S, click my green refresh, nothing changes. However, because I've set up a head container and a body container, what I have unlocked the ability to do is change the background color of my web page. Change the background color of my body so that it looks a little bit differently for the output, okay? There are 2 ways you can do that. I'll show you the inline version first, and then I'll show you the more complicated container version second. The inline version, we're going to add a style attribute to the whole body. Where does the style attribute go for the whole body? It's the same as the paragraph. Any guesses? Inside the, which one? The head, this head right here on line number 3? Inside the body, start tag or end tag? Start tag. So right on here for me is line number 5. I'm going to hit spacebar, add the word style, hit enter. And what am I specifically trying to change? Am I trying to change color or background color? Background color. Remember, your computer needs exact specific instructions. So you're going to write background. And as you write out the word back, you're going to see a couple suggestions, as long as you're inside of the style quotes, a couple of suggestions of what we want to change here. So if I click on background color, you're going to see it's automatically going to add that necessary colon. And then I forgot to say this at the end of the green because I didn't put it. You need a semicolon at the end. Semicolon is the one with the dot and with the comma. So I'm going to go actually back down here and add that real quick by just hitting the semicolon. Okay. What should we make our background color? Purple. So if I type out the word purple, it knows what purple looks like. I can click on purple. I can hold Control and press S to save my work. And I can click my green restart or my green refresh right here. But before I do that, what's going to happen to the output? Any guesses? It's going to turn purple? All right, let's see if you're right. Exactly right. Right? This is kind of pretty hard to read, right? So you want to try using colors that don't clash with each other. And that's something that I'm going to teach you a little bit later in the design portions. But for now, if you mix really, really bright colors, or you mix really strong background colors with really strong foreground colors, which is where we can see stuff on the output, it's going to be a little difficult to read. Okay? I'm going to leave it at that for now, and then I'll start talking about the other type, the more specific CSS type, a little bit later. But I want to make sure you understand this is more than enough that you need for project number 1. Because again, we're keeping things nice and slow and simple. We'll get more advanced as the semester progresses. Okay? Does this make sense? All right. Does anybody have any questions about what I've just shown you? Are we good? Okay, perfect. All right, so we'll wrap up the PowerPoint in just a bit. I got to see y'all a little extra time, maybe. Maybe you can get your phones a little bit early, because most people are submitting project number 1 ahead of time, which is awesome. I love to see that. But again, full credit available all the way through this Friday, tomorrow, which tomorrow we're going to go over syllabus and probably play Minecraft. So definitely show up tomorrow if you're going to show up. But we have to go over the syllabus first. Hey, that's not necessary. Both of y'all, focus please. Okay, let's finish out the PowerPoint real quick. So, how do you know that you're getting it? You know how to change the way an element looks. With that inline style tag, you know the difference between a container-based styling and inline styling. Remember, we kind of skipped over container-based, except you could see the container-based with background color, and you could see inline-based with just the element color. And you can recognize how to do some basic changes, like changing the color, or the text decoration. Text decorations are things like underline, bold, italic. They have a little bit of a different name in web design. I think italic is called emphasis. I think underline is called subscript, and I think bold is called strong. But we'll go over that in more detail after break. That all fits inside of that style tag bucket. Okay? So, why are we doing this? Again, to emphasize process over product. Coming off of your entry task, you should make your site functional first and then format it. Make it work, but ugly, and then make it pretty after you know it's all working. Like I say right here, make it work first and make it pretty second. Another reason we're doing this is customization, by making it yours, by making your All About You page yours and about you. That's the whole point. And in general, in life, your uniqueness is going to come from within you, from your experiences, and from the choices that you make. Like what type of code you put onto your web pages. And then you get to have a design lens. Like I mentioned, the purple and the green were pretty hard to read. You want to think about how your users are going to be engaging with your website. And you can also understand when you're designing a site how to use the pieces efficiently to tell the story that that you want to tell. Okay? And again, we'll get to that a little bit later. Your exit task for the last 10 minutes, I'll see how we're doing after the 5 minutes, is I want to know which styling method is easier to understand, inline versus container, and tell me why. And then that's the last thing I need you to do today. So tomorrow we'll go over syllabus, Minecraft, and then I will also just kind of ease into break really nicely. Y'all, you're doing great. I am very satisfied with how this web design class has gone so far. Okay? Thank you.